Far-right lawmaker Marjorie Taylor Greene appeared as a guest speaker at a white nationalist conference. Far-right lawmaker Marjorie Taylor Greene appeared as a guest speaker at a white nationalist conference, where, among other things, the organizer praised Adolf Hitler to cheers from the crowd and led a chant of Vladimir Putin's name. This, of course, prompted condemnation from other Republican leaders and from the Republican Jewish coalition. Greene initially said she didn't know what the event was for, but has since gone on to defend her participation, saying, quote, "We're not going to be deterred by journalists and Washington insiders who fear the name of our Lord." So that's fun. In 2020, she won her district with more than 70% of the vote.
Okay. Yeah, I'm always curious what the people in, so living in Reading, lots of people won, and I knew lots of people who voted, and none of us had a huge grasp on our local representatives.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm always a little curious how the people in her town are just all like, oh God, man, that made a big mistake on it. She sounded good at that one thing that I watched. It's like,
right. No, I expect and hope that that's what it is, that like the people who vote for her are longtime Republicans who see the R next to their name, which like we've all done it with local politics and stuff.
Yeah.
Even though it's not,
I try not to, but
I have as well. And I do try not to. I've been a lot better about it in the last few years, but like, although I will say she is not that local. Like she serves in Washington. She's not a state representative. She's a national representative of the state of Georgia.
Yeah. So, but of a small, she's not a senator.
No, she's not a senator. And I think her district is pretty small in terms of population. But like, so I would hope that the people who are voting for her just like are not, think that she's a regular Republican and are not aware of stuff like this. Because, man, I do not know, even if you were like willing to extend the maximum amount of benefit of the doubt to this woman, how you come away with this with any conclusion other than she is also a white nationalist. I don't know how you do that.
Well, maybe I'll tell you how. I do this, and it pisses my wife off because I'm always defending people. Like when something comes up, maybe this happened or maybe that happened. And my joke that I always say to her is, well, I'm just a naive 46-year-old man, which was some joke that was made about Al Franken when he did his stuff that got him.
Right.
Cat.
Right. Yeah.
The naive 46-year-old man.
Speaking of sucky politicians.
Yeah. But this white nationalist thing, I wonder if she knew when she went, because I've thought about this, there's this great movie called The Green Room about this punk band that goes and plays this punk show, and everything's going fine until they realize that they're actually playing at a Nazi clubhouse, and it turns into this like awesome horror movie, like escape revenge movie. So they obviously didn't know that they were scheduled to play at the Nazi clubhouse. Did Marjorie Taylor Greene know that she was scheduled to play at the Nazi clubhouse? I guess that's what
I guess there's a couple things. In her defense, she wasn't physically there. She was asked to be like a video speaker at this thing. So she sent a video. So she wouldn't have heard like the Hitler comments. Okay. On the other side, though, as I understand it, she was asked by Nick Fuentes, the organizer. And if you Google Nick Fuentes' name, he's a Nazi. Like, there's no ambiguity to like the top results. And I don't know, maybe she thought, they call everyone Nazis these days and just didn't check it. Yeah. But like, that's also bad.
Fuentes. You're not automatically going to jump. I mean, I know they're Spanish people, but I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but I think.
And then you say she chimed in with chanting Vladimir Putin?
Well, she didn't chime in, but like there was a Putin chant led at the rally where they were like Putin, Putin.
So again,
Putin. Yeah,
her being on Zoom, she might.
Right. she just gave her, she is also a member of the far right. Like, she is as far as you can go, basically, to the right on the Republican Party.
Right.
So she gave her message, which I will say I looked at some of the stuff that was being said at this conference. Apart from overt approval of Adolf Hitler, it's all pretty much the same as stuff that Marjorie Taylor Greene says on the regular. So,
yeah, but that's a big step.
Yeah, no, it is a big step. But like, I'm just saying,
I get you. And that's part of why I find this stuff so interesting, because it's like, am I naive? Is this like Harry Potter and there's like some secret Hogwarts alley of like racists trying to keep the minority down that I don't know about? It's like, I mean, sure, I hear people say some stuff sometimes, or some guys, well, I'm not letting that happen, but it's like, I don't imagine them going to a back room and getting people elected, and it's just weird. It's weird that might be going on, that there's like some Charlie and the Chocolate Factory for Nazis. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like,
no, I do. I think perhaps you are naive about that, and I don't know. I think
just
maybe
a naive 46-year-old man,
right? Well, I am too, because you know what? I don't know anyone in my life who is like that. Because I've met people who were like that. I've met people who were like my friends for a little while, and they said some like not like I had a friend who was really good friend with for a while from Canada, and then they said a couple of like questionable things, which I was like, whatever, English is not their first language. Their first language is French, even though they speak English really well. And I'm like, they're probably just kind of conservative, whatever. And then one day they totally dropped that. Yeah, I wish there were fewer brown people in Canada. And then just went on this rant about like, Canada's for the people who live here, which I was like, okay, but non-white people live in Canada. And she's like, kind of. I was like, okay. And I never spoke to her again because that's screwed up, right? So
yeah,
I think you and I have probably consciously or unconsciously cut the Nazis out of our diet. And so we don't realize they're there.
Huh.
So.
Yeah, but was she part of a group? Were there little meetings? Did she go to little meetings? Was it part of her voting? She's all like, over here, it's like, I agree with like giving more money to this, but this person's for getting rid of the brown people. So that person's going to get my vote. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, well,
it's so hard for me to wrap my brain around. I'm not trying to be argumentative. I get it. Hard for me to wrap my brain around.
I mean, this was a political action conference. They were raising money for people like Marjorie Taylor Greene. So, I haven't heard that she is like not going to accept money from, like, she hasn't even condemned what she heard. She said at first, I didn't know what it was for. And then she did a 180 degree and started talking about how the Republican establishment has no right to criticize her because she's a true Christian and they're not, which I would think if she was there by mistake, then she would be like, I was there by mistake, which is not the tack. That's the tack she took for like a day. And then she changed her tune. So that makes me a little skeptical of her intentions.
Well, I do know a lot of card-carrying Christians, and they do have weekly little meetings in a building somewhere. And most of them are opposed to being racist. The ones I know, at least.
Yeah. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene has done the opposite of what we do, and I think she has cut the non-Nazis out of her diet, probably.
Right.
I think she probably doesn't interact with a whole lot of normal Christians.
Yeah. Well, somebody needs a reminder that Jesus was Jewish at best. At best.
Wait, what? You mean like he was also Middle Eastern?
If he wasn't Jewish, he was brown. And, somebody needs to remind these people.
They don't want to hear it.
There's enough of that stuff down there to breed armies of those things. If a god created this world in 6 days, and I can make hell of it, night.